Hi budgeters, welcome back. So I know it's been quite a while. It's been about 2 years. The last video that I made, I think, was when we were announcing we were going to have a baby. He's now 2 years old, so that about makes sense. Hi Bubba. Makes sense. And a lot of other things have changed too. So not only do we have one baby, we have 2 babies now. We have a little boy and a girl. And a lot of other things. We got married. We moved into a great big house, which, I mean, you're not seeing the house, but the yard, rather, I shouldn't say it's a great big house. It's like a decent sized house with a great big backyard area. So yeah, just a lot of exciting things. And I just keep thinking of, how do I pick back up? What should I do? And just the main focus for this year, now that I'm off on another maternity leave, is, I'm trying to save money while I'm at home. So a big focus has been cooking a lot of our meals, barely eating out. When we lived in the smaller house, before we moved, we kind of had the luxury to do as we pleased in that area. But, it gets very expensive. So I'd rather just cook at home, and not to toot my own horn, but, I do decent. The food is usually pretty good. So yeah, that's just been a lot of my focus. On my Instagram channel, I've been hashtagging my country kitchen. And I think I'm just gonna kind of go with that flow and start back up with just showing you what I'm doing in the kitchen. Now, that's not to say like, hey, if you copy what I do, you'll be a great cook, because I'm not saying like I have expertise or anything. I'm just showing you what I'm doing for my family that's hopefully helping us reduce waste and save some money. So I guess that's a little intro to hop back in, and it'll be good to be back, and hopefully this will bring you some value and show you ways to beat the budget. Right, Bubs? Yes. Love you. Yes. All right, so for dinner tonight, I'm just gonna kind of salvage a few things. So I'm gonna use this full harvest pasta that I had. I'm gonna toast some pine nuts. I was gonna call them pinoles, but I think that's just called the cookies. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna toast these and add them to like a little bit of the pasta water with, I'm gonna salvage some of the spinach and a little bit of a tomato, and the garlic's like not the freshest, but we're just gonna throw it all together. A little bit of Parmesan cheese, and we'll see what we come up with. Baby, that's hot. So up first, I am removing the peels on the garlic by smashing them with the back of a can. This helps take the peels off so much more easily than if you just tried to pick it off yourself. And then I'm just cutting off the edges, the hard part of the tip of the garlic, and I'm putting that into a little pile, and then I'll put that into a freezer bag that you'll see in a minute. Then I'm just dicing up the rest of the garlic as much as I can. So I started a freezer bag full of veggie scraps. So these are the peels, the ends, anything that doesn't make it into whatever I'm cooking or eating. And I save it to make a veggie broth with it. So here I am sorting through the spinach, finding the good pieces, and making a pile of those and tearing off the stems. I just don't like the texture of the stem. So now I'm salting my boiling water right before I drop in the fall harvest pasta that I got from TJ Maxx. And I start at about 5 minutes. It could maybe take up to 8 minutes for this pasta. So this is what I got from the spinach bag. A lot of it is just still yucky. So I made 3 piles. I made a pile I'm keeping, a pile of stems that I'm going to put in my veggie bag that goes in the freezer because it has a lot of nutrients in the stems. And then just a pile of just the yucky spinach that I'm not going to use. For part of this recipe, we're going to save some of the pasta water because we need that little starchiness to not really make it like creamy, but I don't know how to say it, just to make it, I guess, like starchy and a little thicker when we add all the ingredients together. So I'm just using this little contraption that I made here. So then I'm just going to toast my pinoli's in a separate little frying pan. You want to brown them. Now I'm going to just add some olive oil to a larger pot. I'm going to use olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil, because extra virgin you want to use for like salads and things that you just eat directly and raw. The regular olive oil is what you're going to use to cook with. There is a price difference, so you might as well use the more tasty one, the extra virgin olive oil, for your salads and things you taste directly. And then I just add my garlic to the olive oil. I check on the pinoli's, just kind of toss them in the pan, and you want to brown them. Once you start seeing them brown up, you'll know that they're ready to turn off the heat. Then I'm going to add my spinach. And I'm going to stir it in a little bit, but not too much because I don't want the spinach to stick to each other. And then I'm just going to put the lid on to let it steam along with the garlic. So I'm not sure if these are the best cooking tomatoes, but this is what I had on hand, so I'm cutting them down to make cubes. I'm not really trying to get them too thin. I want them to be like something that you can eat in the meal, so I'm just chopping those or dicing those into thicker cubes, we'll call it. So I don't cut the whole tomato because my husband doesn't like the whole tomato, and I'll just put the rest of the tomatoes in that freezer bag. So once the spinach is wilted down a good amount, I'm going to add my tomatoes so that I can continue to cook the spinach and the tomatoes and the garlic together. Once the spinach and the tomatoes, they look a little cooked down, you can see that there's some of that orange looking, residue, I guess, along the edges. That's showing me that it's about ready. I'm adding the pasta water and a little bit of onion powder. I've made a recipe like this before where I use scallions. It tasted really good, but I didn't have any, so I just added some onion powder and some freshly ground pepper, black pepper. And I'm letting that all work together. And then we're going to add the pinoli's and let those all cook together too. So I'm adding the pasta, and you'll see it's just one big lump. I try not to like smash it too much. I didn't want to break up the shape, so I just try to fold it into the ingredients rather than stirring or going too aggressive with it to preserve the shapes, because they were fall harvest pasta, so I wanted to preserve like the leaves and the pumpkins. I need a little bit more of that pasta water. If you already got rid of it or you don't have it, you can use broth, you can use white wine, maybe even some butter. Any of those things would work. Really just use what you have on hand to make the meal. Not every meal has to be the exact same. And once it looks like it has enough moisture to it, just add the Parmesan cheese. The Parmesan should kind of melt or create a slight cream like I was talking about before. It's not really going to be creamy or cheesy, but you'll see it's just like a little bit thicker. This is what my pasta ended up looking like. Of course, if you're using different ingredients, yours is going to look a little different. And then I had to serve the king, the toddler, the 2-year-old. I serve him first. I put his aside first because I don't want it to be too hot for him. And then this night, my husband stayed late at work, so I just fed him right in the kitchen. And it's always good to see what he has to say and if he eats it up. And he does. He ate like 4 dishes of it. Pumpkins? Is it good?
Hi.
Good, baby.
Bucky.
Pumpkins. Very good. You
Beep.
got
Bucky.
Yeah. Oh, that's broccoli? Yeah.
Bucky.
It's good, broccoli?
Hi.
Good, baby. All right, so I've got my plate here. It looks good. It smells good. So here's the moment of truth. Okay, that piece was kind of plain. Let me see.
Bagel.
Okay, it's much better with when I got a bite of the other things. I think it does need a dash of salt. I didn't add salt initially because the Parmesan cheese gives it that salty taste, and I have a tendency to oversalt. So I'll probably just throw a little salt, and then I think it'll be pretty good. All right, so I have since added salt. I have given seconds, and I have almost finished my plate, and it is really good. So this is just what I threw together tonight with some leftover stuff that I had. It actually ended up being kind of like a balanced meal. It's a good flavor. It's toddler friendly because of the pasta. So I'm very pleased with tonight's meal. This might become like a regular thing. And this is just a reminder in #MyCountryKitchen to try to use up everything that you have and try not to let things go to waste. All right, so thanks for joining me on today's cooking journey in #MyCountryKitchen, and hopefully we will make more videos like this. Hopefully this was enjoyable. This is a way for you to live the way you'd like to, but still have some constraints with a budget. So hopefully this helps inspire you, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye, budgeters.
Mommy.
Hi, baby.
Bye.
Can you say bye, budgeters?
Bye.
Say bye, budgeters.
Bye.
All right. How's your pasta? Is it good?
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
You love it?
Bye.
Yes. You're doing pretty good on it, mister. That's your second dish.
Bye.
Yeah.